Don't pout, my mom said, laughing as she pushed the tiny piggy bank toward me. That's our contribution to your future journey, sweetheart. Try to be grateful for once. Her voice sliced through the room like cold wind. My brother lifted the lid of his brand new laptop, the glow shining across his face like he'd just been crowned king of the house. Everyone clapped. No one looked at me. And you know what's funny? Sometimes the smallest moment, the tiniest object, tells you exactly what someone thinks of you. Sometimes a $2 bill hurts more than a knife. The room smelled of cinnamon, warm lights blinking across the tree, but nothing felt warm to me. It's strange how a home can feel like a stranger's living room when you're no longer wanted. Hi everyone, my name is Raina, 27 years old, the quiet one in the family, the one who works 2 jobs, pays half the household bills, and somehow still ends up being treated like an afterthought. Tonight was different. I watched my mom beam at my brother like he was the son she worshipped while I was just background noise. A placeholder. Someone who should be grateful for the scraps. My father didn't even look up from his phone. He muttered, "Be mature, Raina. Your brother needs a laptop for his future. You don't need anything expensive." Because in their eyes my future was already predetermined. Small, simple, and quiet. A piggy bank. $2. A smile that felt like mockery. I swallowed the ache in my throat. I didn't argue. I didn't break down. I just stood up, walked to my room, and began folding my clothes into an old backpack. Not dramatically. Not out of anger. Just with the calm you feel when a truth finally settles inside you. They will never choose me. When I zipped the bag shut, I felt lighter than I had in years. I walked out the front door, the cold December air biting my cheeks, but for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. I had barely taken 10 steps when my phone buzzed sharply in my hand. A message from Mom. Don't forget to pay the utility bills before you leave. They're due tonight. A request? Oh, a command. A reminder of what I truly was to them. And in that moment, something inside me shifted, dark and clear. This wasn't just neglect. This was exploitation. And they were about to learn what happens when the quiet one finally walks away. If this ever happened to you, say, same in the comments. I stared at the message glowing on my screen, the cold air stiffening my fingers. Don't forget to pay the utility bills. Not are you okay? Not where are you going? Not even a simple come inside, it's cold. Just, bills. It's strange how one line can confirm every suspicion you've buried for years. I wasn't a daughter. I was their financial system. I lowered the phone slowly, the quiet street humming with distant holiday lights. Snow crunched beneath my boots as I walked to the bus stop. Not because I had a plan, but because staying was no longer an option. As I waited, I opened the family banking app, the one I'd been handling for years. 3 payments due. All automatically linked to my salary. My lungs tightened. They hadn't expected me to leave. They expected me to fund the house and stay invisible. A new notification popped up. A forwarded voicemail from my father, probably an accident. Did she leave? Don't worry, she'll pay the bills. She always does. Always. The word tasted like rust in my mouth. The bus arrived, its doors hissing open. Warm air brushed my face, and for the first time in a long time, something inside me steadied. They saw me as a wallet. Then they were about to learn what happens when the wallet walks away, and takes every financial string with it. I stepped inside, gripping my phone like a promise. I wouldn't be the quiet one. The bus rumbled forward, city lights sliding across the windows like shifting reflections of the life I was finally leaving behind. I sank into the seat, the warmth thawing the stiffness in my hands but not the ache in my chest. I opened my banking settings again, not out of impulse but clarity. Every bill. Every subscription. Every automatic payment for that house. All drafted from my account. No wonder they never cared where my money went. No wonder they never pressured my brother to contribute. They didn't need him. They had me. With 2 taps, I disabled the autopay system. A warning flashed. Are you sure? I smiled. Small, controlled, steady. Yes, I whispered. The confirmation sound felt like snapping the final thread. Mom called immediately. I didn't answer. A second call. Then a third. Finally, a text from my brother. Hey, the Wi-Fi just shut off. Did you forget to pay? Stop being dramatic and fix it. Fix it. Their favorite phrase. I closed my eyes, letting the vibrations of the bus settle into my bones. For years I patched their problems, paid their debts, held their world together. And all they gave me in return was a piggy bank and $2. A notification buzzed again. A message from Dad this time. "We need you to come home and take responsibility." A cold, clean clarity washed over me. They didn't need me. They needed my labor. And tonight, they'd lose both. Take responsibility. The phrase echoed in my head long after my father's message faded from the screen. Funny how parents can twist words so easily. Responsibility meant their comfort. Responsibility meant my sacrifice. Responsibility meant silence. I didn't respond. Instead, I booked a cheap room at a small hostel downtown. Nothing fancy, just clean sheets and a door that locked from the inside. A door that wasn't slammed open with demands. A door that didn't have expectations attached to it. When I walked in, the receptionist glanced at my backpack and said softly, "Long night." I nodded. She didn't ask anything else. It was the kindest thing anyone had done for me in months. Inside the room, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone as more texts arrived. "Mom, the house is freezing. The heating account is in your name. Fix it." "Dad, do not embarrass us by acting childish." "Brother, my laptop won't connect to anything. Thanks a lot." 3 different voices. Same message. "Come back and serve us." I turned off my phone and lay back, letting the quiet envelope me. No guilt. No panic. Just space. And that's when an idea formed. Slow, deliberate, undeniable. If they wanted responsibility, I would give it to them. The real kind. The legal kind. The type that forces people to see exactly what they've built. Or broken. And I knew exactly where to start. I sat up slowly, the thin hostel blanket pooling around my waist as the plan crystallized. Sharp, clean, and long overdue. If they wanted the benefits of having everything in my name, then they would finally feel the consequences too. The next morning I turned my phone back on. It exploded with missed calls, threats wrapped in fake concern, and guilt messages so predictable I could have written them myself. But I ignored them. My first stop was the utility office. A cold building with flickering lights and the smell of old paperwork. I took a number and waited, heart steady, mind clearer than it had been in years. When my turn came, I walked to the counter. "I need to remove my name from every utility account linked to my parents' house," I said calmly. The clerk tapped on her keyboard, eyebrows lifting slightly. "That will transfer all responsibility to the secondary account holder. Do you know who that is?" I exhaled slowly. "Yes. My father." A few signatures later, it was done. The house they expected me to carry on my back. Now fully theirs. Next, I called the bank to freeze any shared financial access. Then HR at my job to redirect my pay to a new private account. One by one, I cut the ropes they'd tied around me. My brother texted again. "Why aren't you answering? Dad's furious. Everything is shutting down." I typed one sentence back. My first reply in 2 days. "That's not my responsibility." I didn't send it yet. Not until the right moment. As this story was just beginning to turn. I stared at the unsent message on my screen. "That's not my responsibility." It felt like the first honest sentence I'd ever crafted for my family. But I still didn't send it. Not yet. Revenge, real revenge, demands timing. Instead, I went silent. By evening, another storm of messages arrived. "Mom, the electricity is gone. Your father is yelling. Fix this right now. Dad, get home immediately. I won't tolerate this attitude. Brother, my online classes are ruined because of you. Grow up. Grow up." From the boy who hadn't paid a utility bill in his life. I put my phone face down and walked outside the hostel. Snow drifted gently in the orange streetlight glow. People were laughing somewhere down the block, clinking cups, celebrating the season. And for the first time I didn't feel jealous. I felt free. The next morning, I visited a lawyer. A quiet woman with sharp eyes who listened without interrupting. When I finished explaining, she nodded. "They put everything in your name because it benefited them. But that also means you're legally responsible if something goes wrong. Removing yourself from the accounts was smart. Now you need to formally notify them, in writing. A legal notice. A line between past and future." She drafted it within an hour. A document stating I was no longer financially or legally attached to the house, and any further demands would qualify as harassment. I read it twice. It felt like armor. As I left her office, my phone buzzed again, this time a voice message from Dad, furious and breathless. "You're humiliating us. Come home now." I didn't listen to the rest. I finally hit send on the message I'd written earlier. "That's not my responsibility." And for the first time it was true. The moment my message delivered, the 3 dots on my phone lit up instantly, my father typing with the fury of a man who'd just realized his control was slipping. But before his next insult could land, I forwarded the legal notice from my lawyer. A single sentence above it. "This is my final communication." Silence. Absolute, suffocating silence. For a few heartbeats I thought they might actually understand, maybe even stop. But patterns don't break that easily. 10 minutes later, chaos erupted. "Mom, how dare you involve lawyers? Families don't do this." "Dad, ungrateful girl, you're destroying everything." "Brother, wow. Drama queen. You think you're important." Important. The word struck something deep because for the first time I actually did feel important. Important enough to protect. Important enough to walk away from people who only valued what I provided, not who I was. That evening the lawyer emailed me again. "Your parents called my office multiple times," she wrote. "We informed them all communication must go through legal channels now." I exhaled, a long shaky breath I didn't realize I'd been holding for years. I spent that night sitting by the hostel window watching snow fall in soft waves. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It felt earned. My phone buzzed once more. Just one notification, not a barrage. A message from my brother. "Since you left, Dad is making me pay for everything. This is your fault." I stared at it, a small, almost sad smile tugging at my lips. For the first time in his life, he was finally tasting what responsibility felt like. And my revenge? It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It was simply letting them live in the world they built. I stared at my brother's message. "Dad is making me pay for everything. This is your fault." For a moment I let the words sink in. Not to hurt me, but to confirm something I had always suspected. They never struggled because I cushioned their fall. Now the cushion was gone. And reality had sharp edges. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Instead, I forwarded the last document my lawyer prepared. A formal statement confirming I had no remaining financial ties, obligations, or liabilities to my parents' household, past, present, or future. Legally sealed. Emotionally liberating. 2 minutes later, a final message arrived from my father. Short, cold, predictable. "Don't bother coming back." I read it once, and felt no pain. Because here's the truth. They weren't cutting me off. I had already walked away. I had chosen peace over duty, self-respect over sacrifice, and a new life over a collapsing home. I turned off my phone, placed it beside the hostel window, and watched the snow drift like quiet confetti, celebrating a life I was finally allowed to claim as mine. And for the first time in 27 years, I whispered to myself, "I'm free." Not loudly. Not triumphantly. Just softly, the way a wound finally closes. If this ever happened to you, say, same in the comments. I picked up my backpack, stepped into the cold evening air and walked forward, not away from something but toward everything I deserved.